Welcome back. Today, here in the shop, we're back on this antique car, going to move forward on just a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff. Well, rather than me talk about it, let's just get into the project. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop. As you all know by now, we do have this car running and driving, but there is a million things to do on this car to get it roadworthy. We've got fuel system work to complete, we've got electrical work that needs to be done. We even have to replace all the glass in this car because this is not safety glass and it's not safe to drive this car on the road without new glass in it. There's just a lot of stuff that needs to be accomplished. We've got to drain the transmission, we've got to drain the rear end, we still have run rear wheel that's stuck. We have another tire to mount for a spare. We've just got a lot of stuff to do. So rather than talking about it, as I said, let's just get after it and make it happen. So we got the switch back from Wayne. There was just one small problem inside. We did go ahead and test the switch with a multimeter on all positions to make sure, and we're golden, so Dad gets the fun of sorting all that back out again, and I'm sure he's probably going to need help.
I'm still smiling. So far.
Hopefully we don't have to put too many rooster crows in here. So while he's doing that, I'm going to pull the carburetor back off because we need to get an idle screw, and we're not sure on the thread, and we could muck around forever and figure it out, or we could just pull it off of there and check it. So we're going to go ahead and do that as well. We do have the new ball for the throttle linkage, so we'll be getting that all hooked up, and hopefully here soon we'll have functional choke and carburetor, and maybe we'll even put the air cleaner on today. We'll see. Haven't started it in a while, so we may go ahead and do that again too, just to make sure everything is copacetic. Okay, so I was digging around here and I found a choke housing, a screw from a Holley carburetor, and I checked and it looks like it's the right size, so let's run it in here and make sure it goes right here. Yep, that's the right screw right there. So I think we need to find a nut maybe so that we have a little jam nut ability on there. If not, then what I'll do is maybe we'll put a little Loctite on that thread and just let it dry before we put the screw in, so that it just provides some resistance so the screw doesn't vibrate out. I tend to doubt it's going to, but better safe than sorry. We could mung the threads up a little bit. I'd rather not do that. Let's just hope that we're successful in finding a nut that we can use as a lock nut on that screw. Yes, I haven't gotten to cleaning this workbench off yet. Okay, I found a nut. It might have been metric or it might have been gummy. I ran a tap through it. It fits the bolt really nice, or the screw really nice. So we're just putting it in there as a jam nut. On the idle, I think it's an 832. Could be a 1032. I didn't pay attention. I just grabbed the tap that was the right size. But that should work good. So I think we'll have enough idle adjustment there for that to be effective. All right, now let's get the ball and get that put on there, and then we should be good to go. So we got our throttle ball. And this is, I don't know if this is the one that was on the carb we had, but Wayne sent it to us. I had bought a package from Holley. I'll show you those just a second, just for future reference. I got these at O'Reilly's, and they had them on the shelf. They were like $15 or something like that. There's 4 different ones in there. I'm assuming there would be one in there that, nope, actually, oh yeah, there's one there that probably would have worked. I still have about 17 pounds of duct tape on here to peel off. So I guess I gotta do that before we can hook it up. Let's see if she goes. Yep, she snaps right in place. So very good. Very good. Dad got the switch put back in, so we're gonna turn things on and he's gonna say yay or nay if they're working. Lights up here on the cowl working?
Yes, cowl lights, is that what they're called?
Yeah, side lights.
Side lights, there you go.
Headlights?
No headlights.
Really? Okay. That's interesting. It worked before. Oh, we got that magic smoke again.
Oh. Oh, there was a little faint glow there. I thought it was a reflection.
Yeah, it's that one light over here that's shorted, remember?
Oh, okay.
No, we're gonna disconnect that one.
So it's not the switch, it's the...
No, it's hot right here, so.
Okay.
We gotta pull this whole headlight apart. There was a short, I had to wiggle it last time.
Yeah, that's right. So we got one where...
Hopefully this one works, yeah.
Yep.
We'll leave that other light disconnected for now because, like I
Okay.
said, last time I had to wiggle it. And it's funny because, is that the plug that I fixed or was it this one? No, that's the good plug on that side. This one, remember I had to make a piece to go in and put a screw in and make it work?
Yeah.
That one was the one that we originally put in here and it worked. So there's something in that light itself, I think, that's shorted. Because when we moved it from here over to there is when it started doing that. So
Okay.
no big deal. Main thing is the switch is working. So, and
Yeah.
you want to check the tail lights just to be sure?
Sure.
So, yeah, other than the short in that light on that side, we've got our lights. We did not check the ignition itself. We'll throw a voltmeter on that, just to make sure the ignition switch is working, and we should be good. So we're back from a parts run and getting some lunch and so forth, and several things we're going to do at this point. I'm going to get the vacuum line hooked up to the manifold. We had to change the way the vacuum line went into the manifold because it was an integral thing and the fitting was bad. So we bought the new connector. Gonna go ahead and get that plumbed up. Dad's gonna work on getting the spare tire done. We haven't done that yet, so we'll get the tire off, get that cleaned up so we can get that painted. And then we're gonna move on to getting the exhaust system started on this car. We ordered a muffler. We just picked basically a straight flow through glass pack type muffler just to put on here. We like the sound of the car just the way it is, but it does need to have a muffler. And so we're hoping that it's just going to quiet it down just a little bit, but really preserve that very antique-y sound to the car. Anyway, let's get this vacuum line done while he's working on that. We'll get it done. Thought I'd take a minute and show you just how to flare a line. As a course of habit, I always end up doing double flare, but I suppose this could be single flare, but I've always just ended up doing double flare. And I'll explain double and single flare to you in a while. But we're going to go ahead and get this flared up. So you put your line through the fitting to do a double flare, or through the tool. And then the little edge that's on this tool is how far you want that line to stick out. You just kind of line that up. So that's about how much you have sticking through. Close your tool down on it. Apparently the tool doesn't want to, there it goes, say it doesn't want to turn. Hasn't been used in a while. So tighten her down good. This is a copper line, so this should flare very easily. So you can see that we got our copper sticking through there about the same as that step. Then you take your flaring tool itself. And what you're doing is you're creating, you put your little die in there, and you're creating the swedge, or the first flare in the double flare. can see that. You get your little tool, and then the flaring tool's against it, and it's going to push that down and squish it. Once that's done, take your die out. I'll take you over here and show you what that looks like. So you can kind of see how it's kind of swedgy and squishy, and if I took it out of the tool, which I'm not going to do, I'll show you on the whiteboard what it looks like. But it's just kind of swedged over, and then you take your single flare tool and you just flare that, and what it's doing is pushing the material inside. So we will put our tool back on there, run her down. That's all there is to it. I'll show you what that looks like. Copper is so much easier to do than steel. So we've got a nice little flare fitting there, and of course, before you do any of that, make sure you got your nut on there. I can tell you how many times I've flared a nice line and then realized I didn't have my nut on there and had to cut it off and do it again. Now we've got this ready to go here. Pull our nut back down where it belongs, maybe. Kind of stuck up there. I think we kind of bent the line a little bit when we were, there we go. Yeah, when we were flaring it, so and I kind of had formed this line somewhat before, but it's copper, so it's there we go. Well, apparently it's metric. Nope, it's because I grabbed the 11/32 and not the 3/8. Okay, there we go. Very nice, gonna fit in there. This line still needs to kind of bend in that way more, because I'm afraid it's gonna hit the hood if we don't. So just a real quick explanation on double flare and the purpose for it. When you have a line, if you only flared it like this, it's very thin, and this will have a tendency to split and crack, and you don't get a good seal, and it's not safe. And in fact, on a brake system, it's not even legal to use a single flare. So what they do for line is you do a double flare. So you put it in that tool, and when you squish that little die down, that die has a recess up like this in it, basically. And what it does is it causes this line that's sticking above the tool to umbrella like this, okay? So it squishes it down. Then you bring your flare tool in and you push that down. And of course, it's got a recess down in here. And that pushes down in there and squishes that whole umbrella thing right down into here and creates a nice flare on that line that looks like this. And of course, it comes over and it's doubled. So that umbrella squishes back down in, and the end of the line that would have normally been out here because of it being like this gets pushed back down in, and it's called a double flare because you have two layers of this line material here and here, and so that creates a very, very strong flare, and it seals a lot better. So that's what a double flare is. I hope that was clear. That was a pretty quick and dirty explanation, but basically it takes the bellows, it squishes it into a bellows with a die, and then pushes that with this triangle thing and smushes it down and creates it so that it goes like this. And then it becomes your double flared line. So the line itself is folded over itself and makes a very strong seal. So that's all flared up. Now the next thing we want to do, I think, is get our exhaust pipe put on. We got a new pipe bent, but I think the angle of that pipe is off a little bit, so we need to take a quick look at that. We may need to straighten it out just a little bit. We're going to have to use the flange off the old pipe and then weld it onto the new pipe, unfortunately, because I'm not exactly sure how they made that, but it's kind of a specialty thing. So this piece of pipe is way longer than it needs to be as far as its upward angle here. I think we're okay, Dad. Even though that angle is a little bit stiffer, there's plenty of room, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. So we'll just measure off from the flat surface up to here where it needs to be, and then cut the pipe off and weld it together.
Okay.
So it should work. So I don't think we'll need to try to straighten that out any.
Yeah. You can always straighten it later if you need to, right?
Yeah, it's just easier when it's longer.
It's longer, yeah.
So when they bent the pipe, they gave us a lot of extra so that we can snip this off and weld it on here, but I've got to kind of determine where to cut this off. So it's a little bit like horseshoes and hand grenades. It's just a guess. It'll come from the corner of the elbow, about 12 inches. Corner of the elbow, about 12 inches. I think if we cut this, you can see where we got this swedge right here from where they bent it. If we just cut it like 3 inches above that, and then we'll fit it and see how it fits in the car.
Okay.
And of course we may have to cut it down one more time, but it's at least gives us a place to start.
If I hold something straight,
That's a
on
good idea.
here.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yep. And so it goes up 15 inches to the flange there, 16 inches to the edge of the pipe. So let's use that as our number.
Okay.
That's a good datum point. Otherwise, it's just guessing. Okay. Same thing here. 16 inches up to the edge of the pipe. So here, and so yeah, I'd say cutting it in here is going to be about right.
Okay.
Because we got to cut some of this off and then put that sleeve on and weld the two of them together. So we've got to have a little room here to weld.
Need a marker?
Yeah. Yeah, so Dad had the idea of just kind of laying the pipes on top of each other. And our mark is here. And if we cut this off basically there, then we got a sleeve to go over that. That should work well. You see any reason why it shouldn't?
Nope. This is a little
Yeah.
this way, isn't it?
Yeah, the pipe isn't exact, but I think it's going to be okay.
Shouldn't
And we can tack weld it, and once we get the flange on it, and then just kind of check it in the car if we need to
Yeah.
tweak it a little bit or bend it or whatever.
Okay.
There's going to be some slop in that coupling also, because it's a little bit bigger than it should be.
Okay.
So, and we're going to leave the extra length down here for now until we get the muffler and determine. It's easy enough to buzz off with the Sawzall later.
Yeah.
Just make sure that our lines are... Okay, we'll cut those up. So we discovered this was a different setup than what I thought. I thought it was more permanently attached. So we're going to take Plan B here. Cut that off right there. That should match. That should work. We're going to have to do some creative engineering to figure out how this works. But what this did was the flange came up against this, like so, and there's a swedge in here, and then there was basically a gaskety type string that was wrapped around and around and around and around, and then when this flange came up, it held it tight. And maybe we have enough of that, we can just use this old material until we can get some new. It'll be simple enough to change it. But at least this will hold it together for now.
Okay.
Because we've got enough of it in pieces here, we can do that. I can roll this bead in here on the bead roller. No, I can't. But if not, there's another way we can do it. So I think we're going to try to duplicate what this was, basically. Well, about 17 hours later and about 17 re-engineerings, we've come up with a plan. We were going to try to either press a bead in here that looks like that, where that packing goes for the exhaust, or we were going to try rolling it with the bead roller, which we did. Even heated the pipe up cherry red on a piece of test pipe on the other end here, and it kind of sort of did it, but then we realized that the top of this pipe off the original pipe is not in that bad shape, and we just decided to go ahead and reuse it. So we had a piece of sleeve made, and this will slip right on there like so, and we'll just weld that baby on there, and we'll have an exhaust pipe. We have to get the packing, so we can't put it on the car, but we'll tack weld this, make sure everything fits in the car, and then we'll go from there. So we'll get that done yet today. I better put this on. Might not take me long to look at an exhaust pipe. I think we're okay. It's obviously down on the floor. I can't pick it up. Can you see if you can pick it up in place? Make sure we kind of fit where we're supposed to. Perfect right there. Yep, that should work.
It's bumping against the bottom of the muffler.
Yeah.
So it's only like 3 or 4 inches away
Yeah.
from where it needs to be.
Does it need to raise up higher yet?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll probably just go like that, and then it'll be able to raise up more. I think we'll be okay. I mean, it should be the same, so.
It's even with the connection on the muffler.
Right,
But
but,
it's off, left to right.
right, but the point was that that pipe that we cut out of there had a little upsweep on the end of it, remember?
Oh yeah, okay.
So I think we're okay. Well, that's definitely some progress, not a lot. We got the vacuum system taken care of for the fuel system, got that fitting put in the intake, got the ball stud on the carburetor, we got an idle screw with a lock nut. We didn't put the carburetor back on yet because we were working on the exhaust and I wanted the extra room, which worked out well. We may have to do a little tweaking, I don't know, maybe a little bit of something in there, but it'll be good. Muffler will be here tomorrow. So we're just gonna put a straight, I think it's a thrush type of muffler on there. Hopefully that'll sound decent. We won't weld that on in case it doesn't, but we got some options there. Dad got the switch put back in and he got the spare tire off of the rim so that I can get that rim cleaned up and get ready to get that painted so we can put the last tire and tube on, and that part of the project is totally completed. So big progress in all areas for sure. I think that's gonna do it. Dad had to head home. I'm exhausted and gonna go in and actually start editing this video for the next several hours and get it ready to launch for you guys, hopefully on a Tuesday soon. So that'll do it for this episode. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. We'll be back with more on this project soon. Hit the bell so you receive those notifications. Drop some comments down there. Boop, boop, boop. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what you want to see. Ask your questions. There's just a lot you can do, so have at it. Go over to the community tab. There's lots of great discussion going on over there. We're on the Face thing. We're on your Instant Grandma, /My Car Shop. I think that'll do it. So let's just rock. it.